Make the ground shake.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Game Hub. I'm your host Gamer K, and it is the week before Valentine's Day, so it's time for another somewhat video of what I did last year. From now on, whenever it's Valentine's Day, I usually am going to be doing, like I did last year, my top 13 couples list, in which I have my girlfriend on, and she reacts with my picks, she laughs at my jokes, and I make a good couple's flirtations with her. Unfortunately, because at this point in time, Canada is still in lockdown, I had to do this one without her. So I'm holding off my couples lists until we can finally do them together. So in this time, we're going to be looking at some of my favorite female characters in video games. Gone the ways of them being damsels in distress who constantly need to be rescued, or side characters who are later revealed to be exponentially more fun, and the internet won't stop making fan art of said characters. I know who you are, so slowly roll from it. So, one thing I like about these characters is not just how they look, or, how attractive they are, but more so of how they carry themselves within their said game. How their character defines them, and not just the, So, these are going to be, I'm going to go over a quick couple rules, like I normally do for my top 13s. One, my picks, only games I've played, and only characters I actually know a bit about, and no other research needed, like just to put a character on the list. 2, one character per series, just because I like to keep everything fair and not have a whole bunch of, like, Assassin's Creed or those, or any other kind of franchise, but fill up the list. And 3, I am doing video game oriented only, as much as I can, which means no characters from games that are based on other types of media. So saying Spider-Man games and the Arkham games are all out because Batman is another type of media, not just video games. So let's get down to it. This is Gamer K's top 13 video game females. And why top 13? Because even if you're female, here at the Game Hub, only the odd can become number 1. Starting at number 13, I'm kind of breaking the rules because this is based on a comic series, and I mean, it's bending the rules a little bit, but it works. The Wolf Among Us will continue to be one of my favorite Telltale games to date, and I'm slowly, patiently waiting for number 2 or any other announcements. But Snow White. No. Put away the memes of the Snow White from Disney. This is a different Snow White altogether. This is a Snow White who can carry herself throughout the game and throughout the other stories as I've checked it out. I can't remember the timeline of The Wolf Among Us or the Fables comics, but in New York, Snow White is the deputy mayor for the... What's it called again? The homelands of Fabletown. So basically, whenever they have a problem, they need something, they come to her, she'll fix it as best she can. Or, during the game, she was the assistant to the Deputy Mayor, Ichabod Crane. And, by the way, a couple spoilers for the certain games in the series. Throughout the entire game, we can see Snow being a little apprehensive about kind of going beyond the rules and more of fighting for what's right. You know, the whole proper channels thing, and I really hope she loosens up a little bit in the next game. And also, she really fights for the people of Fabletown near the end instead of just hiding behind the red tape like, Crane obviously did. Not only that, but throughout the entire game, you can feel the sexual tension between her and Bigby. And it was moments like that you could really kind of see their attraction towards each other, which makes her character a little even better. And despite in the comics, now that I know, having her husband and sister betray her, yeah, Snow had to go through a rough patch while coming into New York, and it did not get any better. The Enchanted Land of New York City gave this Snow White a little bit more than she bargained for, but every time in the game, she definitely carries herself and holds her head up high despite what people say about her. And I love that about her. So really hope she has a more prominent role in the next game, rather more a semi side role like she did in this one. Coming in number 12, if there's one thing I really love, it's rock and roll. And when No Straight Roads came out last year, I was all for it. The theme of a rock revolution going up against the electronic music empire and doing it kind of a way of an anarchist. I had some renovations about that. I'm just going to move this camera back for a minute. There we go. Sorry. But one thing I really love is the character Mayday, who is very colorful, is very passionate about rock music, and I love playing as her with the guitar, smashing it like a good old-fashioned rock star. And as much as I do love Mayday and the goal that she wants to do throughout the game, I'm all for it. It kind of proposes a big question that Tatiana, the game's main villain, kind of proposes to her. Because Mayday's been doing nothing but hijacking the other artists' concerts and just going for rock versus EDM, did she ever consider the consequences of what she was going to do? I mean, Mayday's whole music revolution is just it's just a big loud noise with no real drive for it. I mean, after this revolution, what's next? How is she going to deal with the backlash for people who have different opinions and just will do what they did? And the people who generally like electronic dance music, like, the big thing about No Straight Roads is it's just an idea with no real focus for it. She's just acting out because they commented on their music. And honestly, it makes her a little bit less of a likable character a bit. I mean, in my opinion, sometimes. But overall, she's still a great character because she fights for what she believes in. And in the end, she comes to her senses and stops being an anarchist. And I will say, though, the game was fantastic. And Mayday's character, while driven by just a love of rock and roll, it just ended in a way that kind of made it feel like we were the bad guys in this situation. And I really enjoy that when a character makes you think so much, and Mayday definitely made me think of it. But because of all that, she's lower on the list. Coming in number 11. I was trying to think of a character from my childhood that I really enjoyed, that I really wanted to get to know more, and loved seeing when she was on screen. And no character fit the bill than Bianca from Spyro Year of the Dragon. And no, we are not talking about the Enter the Dragonfly. Put it away. Bianca is the apprentice to the sorceress of the third game. And in the reignited version, she's shown a little bit more emotion than just the kind of blocky persona that she's got, and it's kind of a nuisance. But in the reignited trilogy, it's really more dominant here. Her character is a little bit more bubbly, a little less. I mean, seeing her trying this cute bunny being, and even more so with the features more well done. I thought she was a cat at first, and seeing her try to be evil, it's a good laugh, and you can tell that she just doesn't have the heart to be evil. And later in the games, you can see her kind of flirtatious with Hunter. And all honesty, I really enjoyed it. It's one of the things in the game that made me really like her, because she's showing her softer side around him when he saves her, and just being herself a little bit. And then when she turns, the only issue is she's not seen a lot in the game, just in the main part of the hub world where she tries to threaten us and then warn us about the final battle, and not much else. She doesn't really appear in any of the other worlds for like a side mission or anything. I mean, you know, mostly she's the threat, so why would she? And not only that, in the Reignited trilogy, it's shown that she is shorter than Hunter as he picks her up and twirls her in the end, and I really love it. I really wish in Spyro 4, if we get one, she is in more mainly in the game and not like Enter the Dragonfly. But this was a cute little bunny character, and I really love her. Coming in at number 10. Going off of May Day, there's one thing I really like is rock and roll. So very rarely will I really like pop music and pop stars in that respect. However, in Mega Man Star Force, the game that reignited my love of Mega Man and took it into a different twist, who was defined but Sonia Strum, aka Harp Note. And I'm not talking about the anime because that only went 13 episodes in English, and I didn't really watch the rest of it. It kind of sucked. Sonia Strum is a pop star who, when she was little, had an amazing singing voice and would sing to her mom when she was sick, hoping it would make her better. Unfortunately, her mother died. This is one thing I love about the Mega Man games. Even though they're on the DS, which is mostly for kids, all the games have some elements of maturity to the characters, so it doesn't feel like it's as watered down cartoony as the show. I still love Mega Man Anti-Warrior. I'm just saying, the games are a lot darker. But as she's a teenager, a 12 to 13-year-old, it is definitely shown that her, manager is more interested in her singing to make money and not to make people happy. This is where he kind of demands that she does more concerts in order to make up for all the time she wasted being on her own. And this is something she won't allow. And that's when the evil Ephemian Lyra comes in. All the aliens are named after constellations. Tells her how she can use her sadness and her anger in order to get back at those who were false fans or people who would just use her as a money machine. And transforms into the amazing Heart Note, which I like that they change her hair from kind of raspberry pink to a blonde and the whole pink outfit. She is basically to the Mega Man in this game to what Roll was to the original Mega Man. Just for people who don't know Star Force. And in the end, Geo, the main hero, talks her down, and she calms down and realizes that she was wrong. And then after her first fight in the first game, Lyra decides that she enjoys being with Sonia and decides to fight the evil Ephemians and basically turns traitor. In the next couple games, she and Geo have a little bit more moments. You can obviously see that they're supposed to be like really good love interests, and also taking into account that the second and third game take like a year or a couple months after the first game. And the moments between them are great, like them going on a date, him complimenting her and all that. You can see even in a moment in the third game, you can see them blushing when they hold hands. It's just beautiful. I only wish a fourth game was done because Star Force was an excellent game, and the one thing I really love about Harpnote is unlike Roll, she can fight and not just like somewhat fight. Her weapon is her guitar, which she can release her strings. She can blast music notes. And also, being a neutral character, she has no elemental attacks, which make her kind of a difficult foe to fight when you actually do have to fight her. But again, the character herself, the backstory, and how they present themselves within the other games, it's done so well that I love her just for being an amazing, not just an amazing female lead character, but a character that doesn't need to be saved constantly. This is how you write good characters, people. Coming at number 9 is a character who, thanks to my girlfriend and a YouTuber who I mentioned in a previous video, this just proves that not all lead characters need to be male. Nancy Drew from the Nancy Drew series. Her Interactive has done a lot of games, and it's done very well to develop Nancy as a character. An amazing detective. She is. A very caring person. Yeah. A good friend to her friends. Definitely. And to people she just meets. An incredible girlfriend. Yeah, Nancy needs a little help in that department, considering every single time her and Ned are supposed to be doing something, she is on a case. Seriously, it's like everywhere this girl goes. Okay, yeah, and I can say girl because in the game they're supposed to be like 17, 18, so I can definitely say that. But everywhere she goes, she's like a magnet for trouble. It's like if my girlfriend was her and I was Ned, I'd be whole happy of her solving cases, just as long as, she kind of settles in for a couple of us time. And Nancy definitely needs to do that because on 3 game occasions, her and Ned have fought, have made up. And in the last game, it's hinted that they were supposed to go on a trip, just the two of them. And I really hope that's the focus of the next game, because we need some moments with them, people. But getting into Nancy as a character, other than the girlfriend factor, she's an amazing detective. She's smart. She kind of I really enjoy the interactions she has with other characters. She can be sarcastic. She can be snide. She can be genuinely concerned for certain characters. It's not in the way of, like, say, Sherlock Holmes, where Sherlock doesn't really care about a lot of the clients or the suspects. As long as he solves the case, he's completely neutral to every other person. And I like that Nancy's not like that. Also, for a detective who has solved as many cases as she has going around the world, you'd think she wouldn't get captured as much as Daphne. But she does. At least in a good number of the 34 games she's in, she's either knocked unconscious or kidnapped and tossed in a death-defying situation. Constantly. And I'm not over-exaggerating. I think this detective needs to get like a warning signal in the back of her skull, because she gets kidnapped more often than Daphne. Hell, all the Nintendo princesses are laughing at her. Bella from Twilight is laughing at her. But overall, she does do the job. She does kind of make a lot of younger girls who play her games feel a little bit more that females can do more and not just be a damsel in distress. And I really love that half the time, especially when Nancy gets to show up some chauvinistic, misogynistic jerk half the time. And I really love it when she gets the chance to just put them in their place. So Nancy Drew, fantastic character, fantastic detective. Could use a little work in the girlfriend department, but I digress. Coming to number 8, another Telltale game is on my list. That is odd. And this one takes place from a series I have no frame of reference from. The Borderlands series, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people were hoping to see either Mad Moxie, Athena, or any of the other characters. But no, because I don't have a lot of knowledge on them, I'm going with Fiona from Tales from the Borderlands. And Laura Bailey, yet again, does an amazing voice for an amazing character. Fiona is a con artist grifter on the planet of Pandora, where her and her sister Sasha, who is played by Erin Yvette, I think her name is, another fantastic character. I wish I could put these two together. One thing I love about Fiona is, whereas her counterpart character Reese, that you switch between the game, uses more on technology in order to get information, she has to use her wits and a Assassin's Creed style pistol with only one bullet to begin with. One thing I really love about Fiona is how she'll go after something that she's not really sure of what the outcome will be, but she does it to survive, because on Pandora it's kind of either kill or be killed kind of way, but not always does she kill. Because of your choices, she can be kind, caring, and think things through instead of going in guns a-blazing. And throughout the game, she does develop a lot of relationships with the other characters, such as like Vaughn. More so Vaughn, because her and him are always paired up together, while Reese and Sasha are always paired up together. And I really enjoy that. And I'm so glad Fiona wasn't the love interest. I'm so happy it was Sasha and Reese. But it gives Fiona a lot of worry for her adoptive sister. And it's really, really good. Really good relationship building. And throughout the game, we build and hurt relationships in the game, whether we mean to or not. And that's what makes Fiona a really cool character, especially in a game where you really have to pick your choices in order to tailor the story to your own design. I really hope they come out with season 2 of this again, because Telltale, two amazing games you need to work on, guys. Get to it, and I hope to see Fiona in it soon. Coming in number 7. I was heavily debated on what Assassin's Creed character to put on this list. Do I put some of the side characters who constantly die for plot convenience? No. I was originally going to put Cassandra or female Eivor on the list, but considering the fact that those characters are completely up to whether a character plays as the female versions or not, it's kind of hard to talk about them, considering the story can go either way depending on what gender you pick. So I'm going with the last Assassin's Creed character, female Assassin's Creed character to really be a badass, Evie Frye from Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Evie is by far a fantastic character in and of herself, and you can see it more with her contrast with her brother Jacob, who is kind of a rough and tumble guy who doesn't exactly think of a plan. He just acts on and makes up as he goes. He's basically the English gentleman Jack Sparrow, if you will. Doesn't think anything through, just acts without, and just makes up as he goes along, or so we all think. Evie plans things ahead and is more of a cautious character and stealthy, and also kind of going by the rules of the order and not just having a fun time. But it's shown that when they get to London that she does start having relations with other characters like Mr. Green, and I really love the flower collection side mission, and seeing their relationship build in the story missions. How much she cared for Clara O'Day, the street urchin who helped them. I really wish that their contacts would have more missions than just one mission, like in every chapter. I really wish that the side missions were more tailor-made to a story with the characters, so we could see Evie or Jacob develop kind of a kinship with the characters. But overall, Evie is a great character and always my go-to whenever it's the stealth missions, which is, I mean, hello, she's the stealth character, so why not? Another thing I really love is during the Jack the Ripper DLC, she does bring out a little bit more of a savagery when she's trying to find her brother and hunt down Jack. And overall, she's a fantastic character. I'm glad they went with the route of switching characters and giving us a female character that did not need to be saved. Rather, she's the one that did most of the saving. So, Evie Fry, cheers, girl. Command number 6. For those of you who have played Criminal Case, it is a fantastic crime game for Facebook, and also for each season getting its standalone game. Which, there are so many characters here, I kind of had to go with the pros and cons of each female character, the main characters, and I came to the conclusion that from Season 2, our junior partner, Amy Young, gets on the list. Because one thing I really love about a character in any type of game is their transition. How they feel at the start of a game, and then how they are at the end of the game. And Amy was always dowdy, constantly flirting with male characters, and one of the times it didn't really work. And she goes through an emotional roller coaster at a good part of the game, where we get through the halfway part of Season 2, which is the Pacific Bay. And you can see her inexperience a lot, dealing with certain suspects, dealing with kid suspects, old suspects, what have you. Always too trusting, kind of getting along that line halfway through, where she starts to become a better detective. But it's during White Peaks is where her character really gets strained. Where White Peaks is her native area, we get to see how terrible she was treated a lot. Her mother was just a terrible person who never gave her the respect she needed or the support she needed. Her ex-boyfriend from a long time ago turned out to be a cannibalistic nutcase. And then her brother, who was a decorated officer but paralyzed in the line of duty, had been teaching himself to walk again in tribute to the urban legend of Nightwalker, and kidnapping and killing young women to symbolize the youth and the life that he lost, and becoming a psychopath. And basically she, like I stated in my Season 2 13 cases of Criminal Case, that she tries to not believe that it's him. The one person who pushed her to join the academy. The one person who believed in her. And it turns out he was a monster the entire time. And it's hard for her to accept it. But then she does, and puts him behind. And just her transition throughout the entire season is what makes her a fantastic character. What made it even better is Season 6, Travel in Time. I'll get to those cases when I get to them. She's the boss. She's the boss of the Time Travel Bureau in the year 2029. Oh my God, that's 9 years from now. Oh God. My point is, she just becomes from a squeaky little mouse to a leader within. I mean, obviously we don't get to see that transition, but it's implied. And that's something that's really good. We got to see her transition from a junior detective to an amazing detective, and then to a leader later on. And Amy Young is just a character from a game that I really love and watch as like a crime show every week. But now that's over, I'm going to go reminisce. And you feel the connection to the character because you're playing it with them. You're playing alongside them, and you get to experience their lows and their ups. And that's what makes Amy Young a fantastic character. We started her off from the bottom, and we got to see her rise to the occasion. That's all I can say. Command number 5. Okay, I've gone almost 30 minutes without talking about Kingdom Hearts, so something's wrong. Must be wrong with me. Let's start talking about Kairi. Yeah, right. Like, I'm going to put her on the list after they botched her up in number 3. And I'm not saying that Kingdom Hearts doesn't have a lot of great characters. I mean, I love Naminé, I love Shion. Kairi's a kind of hit and miss. But obviously, Aqua gets on this list, being the only female character in the game who can actually handle her own in a fight with out needing help constantly, or getting kidnapped, or constantly needing to be saved. Aqua is a fantastic character, mostly because she feels like the paternal character within the group of three. And I really enjoy that. She acts kind of like a mother to Ven, and it shows within the game through flashbacks, through how she cares about other characters. Although she doesn't really act like she's got like much of a personality, which kind of hampers things a little bit, she does care for other characters. She does want to make a difference. And not only that, but you know, she tries to fight the darkness with pure light, and then but then when she learns that dark and light go hand in hand, and they can't really be destroyed. And also her voice actress, Willa Holland from Arrow, fantastic actress, fantastic. And I really hope she does more voices in the future for video games and TV shows. But it's in Kingdom Hearts 3 where, kind of like what I said with Amy, where we saw the down and go to the up, we saw the up go to the down for Kingdom Hearts 3. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but it was done pretty well. After spending a decade in the Dark Realm, losing all hope, wondering if she'll ever see her friends again, wondering if she'll ever be saved. And after that little bout with Xehanort or Xemnas, she succumbs to the darkness and becomes anti-Aqua, and we got to fight her. And she's got a big repertoire of her skills. And just seeing her kind of, and releasing her from that darkness, and seeing her fight again and get that passion for her friends, it was an emotional moment for me. And I really, really enjoyed it. Aqua was a fantastic character from Birth by Sleep, and it was even more incredible seeing her become a great character in number 3. So my heart goes out to her, and for being one of the greatest characters I've ever had the pleasure of playing as. Let your heart be your guiding key, and hopefully that key doesn't take another 13 years to open. Coming in at number 4. I'm going to get a little bit of mixed reviews from this one, considering a lot of people either like this character or hate this character. But, you know, life is strange, so it's going to be fun. Chloe Price. I know I was tempted to put Max on here, but that's for another list entirely. Chloe is a fantastic character because she's not the constant girly girl or the damsel or the one that's always right. She's a realistic person who does what she wants, and the heck with the rules. I mean, to be fair, she does have Max as her friend during the game, in contrast to helping Chloe out of her predicaments after not being there for her for years when she needed her. And just going through her backstory, all honesty, I wanted to cry at most of the game. And being an expert with time travel movies and in games, I knew what was going to happen in the end of the first game. I knew how it was going to end up because of all the disaster that was going on. The one thing I really like about Chloe is that throughout the game, she tries to make Max open a little bit more. And I love that. I think Chloe is the friend that everyone wishes they had to kind of help them open up more. And I really think that Chloe is that kind of character. I mean, I know she acts rough and tough and kind of, you know, swears like a sailor to no tomorrow. But it's just because she's had so much loss in her life, and her best friend wasn't there for her. When she lost her dad, when she then lost Rachel, once I played before the storm, and I cried a good number of times. As much as their relationship was great, it's literally like there's nothing we can do. And it just made me sad to realize where things were going. As much as I loved Chloe in the game, every time I I haven't played the game for years, but every time I see, it's just a heart-wrenching, she's just a heart-wrenching character. Not not just because of her actions and what she chooses to do and how she helps Max. I mean, hello, I got the artwork to prove that I love the game. It's just, they go hand in hand. Where Max fails in certain aspects, Chloe makes up for that, and vice versa. It's a good symbiotic relationship with them. And at the end of it all, it's just a sad tale. So, Chloe Price is a hella good character, and she's definitely one of my personal favorites. Coming at number 3, Persona 5. And if you can't tell by the artwork of who I'm picking, I don't have that much with the Persona series, because 5 was my first game, and I never fully beat it. I mean, I almost did, but I'm kind of an insane perfectionist, so I tried to restart it and get all the everything 100%, but then I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna do that. So based off what I know a lot of, Makoto Nijima, aka Queen, was the student council president of the high school where the main character goes and the whole plot of the game. Oh, well, mostly. So Makoto is asked by the principal to spy on Joker, Ryuji, and An, and Yusuke later on, in order to find out what they know about the Phantom Thieves of Heart. And Makoto does a lot of digging, and she later blackmails the team into helping her, and also kind of confronting them. And this is one thing I love about a character's transition. Majority of the first bit of the game, Makoto is told what to do, but not why she's being told what to do. She's being told by the principal to spy on her students. She's being told by her sister that she's a burden on her because their father died, so her sister had to give up her life in order to get a job as a prosecutor and provide for them. And it just feels like all her life throughout the game, she's just been told what to do without anyone asking what she wants. And during the Junya Kaneshiro, the gluttony arc, I like to call it, even An and Ryuji go at her for the events previous in the game, that she did nothing when the abuse was going on for the first chapter of the game. Like, she just stood there and did nothing. But now that things are getting done, she's being told to investigate. They just throw a lot of truth at her, and it's almost like she can't handle it at first. And then when the gluttony guy comes out and harasses her, she lets her true feelings known in one of the most badass sequences in the Persona series, the ripping off of the mask and becoming your true self. And okay, so student council president, always being told what to do, gets a badass biker outfit and a persona that's a bike, a motorcycle. I'm not sure if they were just thinking, how can we make this girl, voiced by Cherame Leia, I think that's her name, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, who is the voice of Lucy from Fairy Tail. It's good to see her being a badass. It's good. And then throughout the game, she's working hard to make sure she is more involved with the students and their problems so she can live up to her role as student council president. And in Persona Strikers, I'm not sure if I'm getting it, but I'm pretty sure she'll evolve more. So, Makoto, fantastic character with another transition arc that makes her into a better person. And yeah, Cherame Leia, fantastic voice actress. So, gotta give props there. All right. Coming at number 2. There are very few games, choice-making games that I play. And I know that's become a big thing in recent years, where you tailor-make the story. And a good number of characters I can always write off as, okay, so they're just going to die anyway. But one character from a game that I really enjoy, and another character much like all the other characters on this list, they have transitioned into a role. From Detroit, Become Human, Kara. A fantastic character, point and simple and clean, point and simple. Right from the get-go, I got the feeling like out of the 3 characters we play, they're going to die at some point. But Kara was the one character I definitely wanted to see her story all the way through. An android that has been broken and fixed. We start to understand a little bit of what happened, the circumstances, and Kara takes a role to protect the child Alice. And throughout the game, or before that, when we break our programming and are set free, Kara, it's an amazing scene of a kind of survival. Kara is able to get Alice out, and then the journey begins. And throughout this game, through our choices, we can make Kara a mother that she kind of wants to be to Alice. And I really love that. Every choice we make, every decision we kind of make has to be for the child. And it does speak to Kara being kind of an android that's used to help around the house with kids. But in essence, we're making Kara into a motherly character even without knowing it. And I really love that. When our choices in a game affect the character in ways we don't even plan. And throughout the game, we trust certain characters. We don't trust certain characters, depending on how we feel about the scenario. And honestly, the truth near the end is top-notch. It's a top-notch ending, and that's why I always go the pacifist route whenever I can in a game, so I can get the best ending for these characters. And it's fantastic. A couple moments made me kind of question what I was doing, but in all honesty, hoping, oh, please don't let us get caught. And Kara is a fantastic character through and through. As a mother, as a friend, and ultimately one of the best female characters that could ever be written in video games. So the bar is set high for characters like this. And they finally got to the border. Welcome to Canada, Kara. It's freezing. And now we've reached the end of the list. Now, this may sound a little weird for most people. And mostly because I've never played the second game, but I played the third and the fourth. I watched the first and the second, so I understand the chemistry of this character. And out of all these characters, I picked a character who actually, not actually is a better character, but I'm going to say from start to finish, a complete story is developed within the main character and this character. From the Uncharted series, Elena Fisher / Drake. Just from the first bit of the first game, and like I said, I only played the third and fourth. I've beaten them, and I watched the first and second years ago. Just seeing the kind of the attitude between Elena and Nathan. And seeing their kind of flirtatious chemistry right from the get-go. She's irritated by him at the start. And he's constantly making snide jokes. It's just, it works right from the get-go. I love it when characterships can be developed within a little bit of chemistry and then throughout the entire game. It kind of reminds me of Han Solo and Leia a little bit in that respect. And throughout the other games, we kind of see that their relationship went bad a little bit because they weren't together. But then in the third movie, we kind of indicate that they got married, but Nathan just refused to wear his ring. And the fourth game, he constantly lied to her. Because, okay, for the first 3 games, they met by chance, and then they developed a big relationship where he cared about her. And there's always kind of flirty humor going on with them. And it's brilliant. It's like watching 2 characters from a drama show that you really want to end up together. I mean, you know they ended up together, but you want them together. That's what Nathan and Elena are. And not only that, but throughout the 3 games, he shows that he really does care for her, even more than whatever treasure he's going after. And you can definitely see the chemistry build in all the games. And then the 4th game, when he constantly lied to her, and then she finds out, it's kind of a heart-wrenching moment. It kind of reminded me of in Once Upon a Time when Belle found out that Rumpel was doing some bad stuff and then forced him to leave Storybrooke. It was one of those emotional moments that were like, oh my god, no, you guys can fix it. You guys can fix it. And halfway through the 4th game, I was kind of upset that she made a good point. Why can't Nathan be happy with the life he has with Elena? He had to go out of his way to help his brother and also kind of trigger that obsessive need to solve a treasure mystery, an ancient mystery. It's something like that really makes their relationship strong. Defying the odds and all the arguments they've had throughout the games, the constant fighting and the making up afterwards. It's beautiful to see a relationship go this way. And honestly, it kind of reminds me of me and my girlfriend a little bit. I mean, okay, yeah, I don't go after exotic treasure and take on war criminals, psychopaths, English women. And she's obviously not the... Okay, yeah, my girlfriend puts me in my place, just like Elena does to Drake. But it's something that it's that humor and charm kind of relationship that really defines their relationship and the love that they have for each other. And even though they get romantic moments, I still love it when they were able to input some humor into it. It works exponentially well. And all honesty, Elena puts up with a lot more than most of the women on this list. Because now that I think about it, she's the only one that's married and has to put up with a kind of an ass of a husband and technically boyfriend throughout 3 of the games. And I really enjoy their relationship. And that's why Elena Drake is my favorite character. Not just because she's a fantastic character, but overall she's a character that has to go through the adventure, has to fight with Nathan in order to keep their relationship, has to go the distance and above and beyond for each other. And that's what makes her a fantastic character. And my favorite female video game character. And that's the list, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe down below, and have a happy Valentine's Day, YouTube. Have a good one, and join me next week where we... What am I reviewing next week again? We sail forth to Valhalla. This is Gamer K, logging out.